And welcome back to coverage here at Grand Prix Philadelphia, Day 2, Return to Ravnica Draft. This is round 15. I am Marshall Sutcliffe. I am joined in the booth by Steve Sadin. And as you can see, we have a down-to-the-wire match here. Bing Luke on the left-hand side versus JC on the right. They're both at 12-2. We don't think that 3 losses is going to get you into the top 8. There's only 2 rounds left, including this one. So this is a critical match for both of these players. Bing Luke on the left-hand side, he's played in the Magic Online Championships twice. He's one of the only 2 players ever to play in it twice, the other one being Reed Duke. He also was in the Community Cup. You might remember him from that. And he leads off with a Guildgate into a Transguild Promenade. Now, one of the things I happen to know Bing personally, and I got a chance to thumb through his deck before his first match with this deck, and you know, he's got a very powerful build. The question for him is his mana going to work? And so far, even though it's a slow start, his opponent Jay also wasn't off to a particularly quick start, and Bing does seem to have his mana, especially when Seller of Songbirds mates a dragon token. Okay,
that's a good value.
Like we get a bird in there now. Sunspire Griffin for JC, and he's going to battle with it.
Knocks Bing down to 18.
Bing lives in New York, same place that you live, although he lives out in Queens.
Yeah. So apparently he's been in New York for a while, and nobody else in New York had any idea. He just played on Magic Online all the time.
Yeah. You know, I went out to New York to visit once just to hang out and stuff, and he actually came out and did a draft, so he's around somewhere, but it takes him a while to get to Manhattan.
Oh, and Bing just built up his defenses with the Towering Indrik.
Towering Indrik does not block the Vassal Soul. Now, JC can represent just about 1 million combat tricks, but wouldn't you make him play one there?
Not necessarily.
Maybe
not if Bing has a trick of his own.
Okay. So Bing does take the damage. He takes 4 in the air, and it looks like Jay's got his own Towering Indrik. And we see Bing Luke now have, well, he's got access to a whole bunch of colors. He aggressively flicks his card sleeves there, but he's just going to pass a turn back 1 card at a time for Jay. He's going to play his land. He's going to attack with everything. All right, so Bing is going to figure out what he wants to do for blocks. It looks like he might be setting up a common bond style block here. Do you see that too?
Potentially.
I know he's going to change over.
I imagine that Bing suspects that Jay has a combat trick, or would have blocked last turn.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't think. Oh, and he's just blocking the Vassal Soul.
Right, so I think we're going to see the common bond here from Jay, and we do indeed. It looks like he's going to put both counters on the Vassal Soul, which is going to eat.
What does Bing have?
Looks like he might have his own. No, he's got an Aerial Predation. Wow, completes the full 2-for-1 there. You don't see that often in Return to Ravnica Draft. It's not really set up to be a big 2-for-1 at instant speed format, but he certainly got one there. He does take some more damage, though. Ooh, did he draw what I think he drew?
Definitely drew a gold card.
Let's see if he taps 4 mana here. No, that might... Oh, okay, I think that's actually a Wayfaring Temple. He says
for 1.
You can see he's got kind of manic movements here. He's not used to playing with real cards as often. It is a Wayfaring Temple. And he's going to play another Guildgate, so his mana looks good. He plays that one backwards. That doesn't ever happen on Magic Online, but he fixes it there.
So the Wayfaring Temple currently a 4/4.
Mm-hmm. And it can even populate if it does get in there.
But
all right, so this time he says, I'm going to block really quickly, and it looks like Jay says, well, I've got another common bond here. I'm going to put both counters on it, make this thing into a 4/5, which does eat the Towering Indrik. Now, it's also going to represent a 3-turn clock, so Bing's got to find some way to either apply pressure, gain some life, or take care of that Sunspire.
This also knocked his Wayfaring Temple down to a 3/3.
That's right. It's back up to 4/4. And looks like he's going to battle here This is a big attack. If this thing actually is able to get in, he's going to get to populate the bird. It's going to grow even bigger, and things are going to start getting out of control. It looks like he said he took it.
He does, and now he has a steady stream of chump blockers for his opponent's Sunspire Griffin.
Oh, that's why he took it. He had an avenging arrow that whole time, and he takes out the Wayfaring Temple. Now, the good news for Bing is that he does get that bird anyway, so he did get some value out of it. And let's see if he wants to start going into chump block mode yet, or if he's just going to take it. He's still at 12. This would only knock him down to 8. Looks like he's writing something down. Yep, he did take it. He drops to 8.
And Phantom General for Jay.
Phantom General for Jay is not that impressive here. Although it does enable attacks to the on the ground. Right, Bing says go.
Bing has tons of mana at his disposal, but
all different types of colors.
Nothing apparent, nothing at least up until this point, isn't that good.
All right, and he's going to go into chump block mode, throws away a bird, and a Dredge Beetle follows up. What does Bing draw? Well, he plays a forest. I don't think that's what he drew, and he just shifts the turn back, though. And Jay says, all right, enough of this. I'm going to attack you with everything. Block, block, block. And this way, he's only going to take 2 damage, potentially. Bing really needs to find a few spells here to help get him out of this situation. He is tapping mana. Are we going to see a Swift Justice? Yep, we are indeed going to see a Swift Justice.
But
oh man, Celestia Charm to repump here.
Another trick from Jay.
That's the 3rd one of the game. Now, Bing isn't dead here or anything, but that's a pretty big play. Because he was going to be gaining 2 life and knocking one of Jay's creatures off the board. Instead, he's going to be taking damage. He will, though, still gain the 2 life. It's a good news.
But now, the only thing left on his side of the board is an Axebane Guardian. 6 life. Bing needs something really good this turn.
Yeah.
He's going to even survive for another turn cycle. Does he have a Supreme Verdict? Doesn't look like it.
I didn't see one in his deck, I don't think.
Courser's Accord.
Courser's Accord. Is that going to keep him alive, though?
I don't think so, unless he has a way to block the Sunspire Griffin.
He still has 1 more card in hand, and he's got 3 untapped mana. But I think that this is just Bing's sort of last stand here. I think he's just going to end up dying. Oh. Well, it looks like Jay just attacked with the Celestia Sentry and the Sunspire Griffin.
Must figure that Bing probably has a trick of some sort, or else he would not have shown him the Courser's Accord.
Bing is deciding how he wants to put his blockers in here. All right, he's got Eyes in the Skies.
Jay telling...
Is this after blocks? This is before blocks. All right, so it looks like what we're doing is clarifying when this happens. And now he says, can I go to blocks? And he says, sure, regenerate my guy. Although, I don't, oh yeah, he did put a Centaur in there. So it looks like Jay's just asking him to be more clear. Is that a Tristani's Judgment? That would be one of the cards that Bing could get to get him out of this situation. He does still have another chump block, though.
Still doesn't get him completely out of the situation.
It's a Knightly Valor.
Okay.
It's not unreasonable, but really, that Sunspire Griffin's a big, big issue going further into the game. And we also see that Bing is, in fact, out of cards. Ooh. He chump blocks with his Beetle.
Jay now has the ability to make his Sunspire Griffin represent lethal damage.
Right, so he forces Bing to chump block with his bird.
So Bing has 1 draw step where he can draw an answer to the Sunspire Griffin, or he's dead. Nope.
Oh, and it looks like he says, I concede. You got me. And he's going to scoop up his permanents here. All right, so Bing Luke up against it here. He's down a game versus JHC, and he really needs to find a victory if he's going to remain hopeful of making the top 8 of this event. Didn't see anything amazing out of Jay's deck. Just a bunch of creatures.
Multiple common bonds,
And
which
common
are
bonds and
very potent in this
giant
matchup.
growth. Yeah, it does seem so. Also, it's kind of interesting because after having seen all of those combat tricks, Jay can just represent combat trick after combat trick just anytime he wants. He has untapped mana. He can just swing his guys in there, and Bing's going to have to respect that it might be there and take that into account.
Potentially more relevant when Jay is on the play, as we saw in that game. He had a 2/3. He had a 2/2. He could easily attack into Bing's 2/4s. He always had the trick.
Yeah, and he always had it too. Jay doesn't look too worried about it here. He's just very calmly going about his business. Bing as well. He's written a few articles for Star City. He goes as Prolepsis 9 on Magic Online. For those grinders out there, you probably played against him.
Including a couple of early articles about adjusting to playing real life Magic.
Is that right?
With paper cards. Yeah. He's just so accustomed to playing online, he had to teach himself how to shuffle.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's one beautiful thing about Magic Online is that you don't have to worry about shuffling ever. It's really nice. You get a look at Bing there. Bing's a lawyer, practices law
by day, and a Magic Online player
he terrorizes people on Magic Online by just slaughtering them.
Just day in, day out.
Day in and day out. Cleaning the street, man.
Gotta be moving.
Sweep it.
Gotta be moving.
All right. So let's see. Now, I saw at least 2 bombs in Bing's deck that we did not see in this game. So let's see if, and he could have cast either of them.
He had a ton of mana of all sorts of different colors that game, but he just never really drew anything that powerful.
All right, Bing's looking at his opening 7 here. And it looks like Bing's kept, but Jay has decided to mulligan. You know, considering the fact that we've seen Bing's deck is pretty slow, he's got to be pretty happy to see his opponent mulligan. I mean, I suppose you always feel a sense of relief when they do, but Bing's deck could certainly use the time. I've never seen anybody eat as much barbecue as Bing Luke can, by the way. He doesn't look like a large man, but geez,
he's a small guy.
He's incredible. He's a machine. I think he would just eat like chew on the bone if he seriously, the guy's just a barbecue fanatic. That is the face of a champion right there.
That's quite the face.
Got his game face on here for sure. All right, try it again, Jay. Let's see if you can get a 6. Keep here. Looks like he's kept. And Bing leads with a lowly forest. See if he's got the promenade on turn 2 or what. Nope, he's got a guild gate though. All right, no play from Jay on turn 2. Bing, all right, he's got a plains. Still no play. Gate Creeper Vine for JC. See what he gets.
Find out if he has a splash.
Yep.
No, just a plains.
Just a plain old plains. All right, 4 mana. And it's going to be a Towering Indrik here for Bing Luke.
Towering Drake, a card that would normally be very strong against a deck full of 2 and 3 power flyers. Not great, not necessarily great when you know your opponent has multiple Common Bonds and Celestia Charms.
And Giant Growth.
Yeah. Jay has a Towering Indrik of his own.
Indrik fight. They're staring each other down. All right, Concordia Pegasus, no land drop is all that Bing can muster here for his turn. And he doesn't block with either creature.
That's purely out of respect for Common Bond. If Bing thought that Jay only had cards like Giant Growth that would provide a temporary benefit, then he surely would have blocked with his Concordia Pegasus.
Bing says, hey man, I got tricks too. Looks like Jay's just going to take it. Nobody ever blocks here. Having mana, Seller of Songbirds. It's going to get 2 creatures onto the battlefield for Bing Luke. Neither of them particularly impressive.
Having untapped mana gives you just such a big advantage in this matchup.
It sure does. Just makes the other guy in such a bad spot.
How can you expect to block profitably when you know your opponent has a bunch of tricks? Jay just played his second Phantom General. Fortunately for Bing, he's not staring down any tokens yet.
Yeah, and one Eyes in the Skies away from adding just a ton of power and toughness to the board.
Eyes in the Sky would give Jay 6 power worth of flyer. Courser's Accord, 10 power on the ground.
Let's see what Jay has here. He did mulligan to 6 this game. Just keeps fighting. Bing's had enough waiting. And Jay says, sure.
Bing takes 4, falls down to 10.
I see an Eyes in the Skies for Bing. Ooh, there's a Courser, Centaur's Herald, though.
So Jay will be able to make a 5/5.
Which is pretty impressive here. Bing does have plenty of ways to stay alive for quite a few turns through just a 5/5, though.
And he has a lot of good flying attackers.
Yeah, it looks like he's just playing pretty content to just beat down here. Now, Jay can make a 5/5 and block here as well, though, so Bing's got to be careful not to throw away any of his creatures on the ground. Looks like he's got a follow-up play. It is the Wayfaring Temple. It's huge.
Oh, jeez.
It's a 7/7 right now.
Gigantic.
Yeah,
but
nice 5/5.
If Jay has this Celestia Charm, he could just kill it outright. If he has a Giant Growth, his Centaur will live in combat against it. If he has even a Common Bond, he could trade his Centaur for the...
Now, Bing's at 10. He can take a hit.
I can't imagine that he would want to,
but
though.
It would be pretty risky. So the question is, do you just start chump blocking or what? I don't know what that card is. It's slightly off camera. Do you see? I couldn't see what it was.
I can't tell. Rashad, is a card off camera?
Oh, they're bringing it in. It was the Seller of Songbirds.
Gotcha.
So now that bird in the air is a 3/3.
Oh. And it's, again, really difficult for Bing to attack.
This costs... All right, so we have Grove of the Guardian there for Bing. And he's going to play a Golgari Longlegs as well. He doesn't have quite enough mana to activate his Grove of the Guardian. He will if he hits another land drop, though. I hear 8/8s are pretty good.
And he would have a couple of them.
Would he?
Because of the Wayfaring Temple.
Oh, you mean if he can get in with it?
Huh?
I mean, it's
well,
got
no,
hit.
no. If the Wayfaring Temple itself is already a.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, yeah. Just be an 8/8. I like it how Bing just throws away the bird whenever he jumps with it. Just can't wait to get it off the
Fly
table.
away.
Yeah, it flies away. No loyalty counters. What is Bing up to here? Gate Creeper Vine.
All right, so he will have the mana to make an 8/8 token next turn. But
and there's one of his bombs. That's Tristani right there.
Oh, geez.
So he is going to set up an insane engine here if he has enough time to do this, where he can make a token copy, or he can make a token with the Grove of the Guardian. It's an 8/8 with Vigilance.
You'd gain 8 life from Tristani.
That's right.
And then he can populate every turn.
For only 3 mana, and he would also gain 8 life every turn too. And it's hard to imagine a situation that Jay could come back from that. The question is, can Bing Luke stay alive long enough to do that?
So this is the turn. So NSEP, Jay used Common Bond to make his bird a 5/5.
But right now, Bing Luke has 2 flying bird tokens that could just get in the way of that thing. It is tough to imagine getting in for 10. I can think of a few cards that can do it, though.
Oh, and
what did he kill?
another bird token with Aerial Predation.
Yeah, that's. I don't think that's the right plan here, because none of that's really that relevant, considering the fact of how much life is going to be gained here.
Bing's just going to be gaining at least 8 life a turn, and making an 8/8 Vigilance creature.
He set aside the mana. Do it. He's got to tap 2
Doing it
of his
immediately.
creatures.
He doesn't
Yep.
want to Jay to have a Tristani's Judgment or anything that would prevent him from
He
gaining
wants
life.
to gain that life. If he gets up to 18, he's going to tap Tristani because he knows that he can't use the populate this turn anyway.
Right. And he's not blocking
And he's
with
not
it.
going to risk blocking with her. They're going to work on getting the token, but he's going to go up to 18 life. Sure.
5/5. Bing chump blocks.
He's just playing it extra safe because he knows that now he can start making 8/8s over and over again. Now he's going to want to do this one pre-combat. He doesn't want to set himself up for some trick or whatever. He's just going to want to do it right now, I think. You know, if he goes into combat and the damage is taken, and then he goes to activate Tristani and his opponent has like an avenging arrow.
Yeah, he could just lose for no reason.
Right, for no good reason. So tap Tristani. The token's an 8/8 elemental. Yeah. Aware.
So Bing goes up to 26. Does he attack here?
Heck yeah, man. Start crash. It doesn't tap. So Bing.
The token has Vigilance.
Bing. The token should have Vigilance. Yeah, there we go. Token has Vigilance. The Wayfaring Temple is sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8.
Jay has the Rootborn defenses, so
he
he's
is
going to come out of this combat step alive.
Very alive, and he's also going to kill the Wayfaring Temple probably.
He may be able to kill the 8/8 token as well.
If he does, I don't think he can kill. You might be right. It depends.
Those
Because
centaurs
those are both
5/5s,
5/5s, right? Yeah. So 2 of those kill one thing.
right? And he doesn't have to worry about any of his own creatures dying.
Nope.
He has
So
the Rootborn
2,
defense.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He needs 1 more power. That's okay. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, and he gets to kill both of those creatures and make his own. That's a pretty nice little turnaround. Now remember, Bing's sitting at 18. But even with that being said, JC has tons of power on board. He's got a 5/5 bird, 2 5/5 centaurs.
Isn't he on 26?
Oh yeah, Bing should be on 26.
Oh, and a Selesnya Charm.
Selesnya Charm is
Bing's
going to
out of
exile.
8/8.
Oh man.
Suddenly Jay-Z.
But Bing
very
should
much
be on
in the driver's
26
seat.
life.
Gee, if Bing hadn't attacked with his 8/8 Vigilance token. You know, very different spot right now. So Bing went from having a probably inevitable situation
Yeah.
to being very
Wow,
wow,
and Common Bond to keep both of his guys alive? He's going to put one on each, he said. It's going to keep the one alive, and the other one's just going to be bigger for next turn. What is this?
Swift Justice.
All right, so Swift Justice, because he went 1 and 1 instead of both on one, that's going to gain. Bing's going to gain another 6 life. It's going to put him back to 32. I don't know if he's taking any damage this turn. I think he's taking the 5 in the air, though, which will put him at 27.
But
He
Bing
needs a
doesn't have-
token here.
Yeah.
Any creature he plays is going to gain him the life and toughness, however, but a token would be ideal. What is this? Well, it's a Sunspire Griffin. That's going to bring Bing back up to 30. Does he have another play here? He does. And it's a Centaur Healer. That's going to gain him 6 life. He's back to 36. But again, Jay has one of these crazy boards where he's actually just got a ton of power.
Yeah, attacking with his 8/8.
Interesting. I wouldn't have considered not attacking with it, but looking back, maybe you just wait till you have 3 of them or 4 of them or something.
He knows that his opponent doesn't have a removal spell yet, but there's no reason to believe that Jay doesn't have a combat trick of some
That's
sort.
right. And Rootborn Defense is being the worst possible scenario. Judge is making sure that these guys are keeping clean. You can see they're getting a little fidgety there. All right, what does Bing have? If he can just keep committing creatures to the board, he can keep gaining life and eventually find something to populate over and over. Although, I got to say, he had a pretty ideal populate token there.
Yeah.
Rootborn Defenses with the huge blowout. Azorius Arrestor is going to lock up, actually, the towering Indrik. It's going to gain Bing a life.
And Aerial Predation takes out the bird token.
Okay. So Bing Luke storming back here, limiting the plays of JC. Jay does have attacks here, though. He's going to attack with the Sentry. And Bing says, I'll block your Sentry. And he's got the Common Bond again. All this guy has is combat tricks. No end in sight. He's going to put both on there. Bing is going to take 6 damage, and then we're going to see a Drudge Beetle come down post-combat. All right, Bing, what do you got? Tristani doing serious work here. He's trying to set up this inevitability that he had going.
He has no attacks. Jay-Z has a giant regenerator and a 6/6 token. Bing trying to figure out if he can kill the Centaur without losing too much.
Yeah, he's kind of testing out different blocking configurations to see what he likes best here. Looks like he needs one more creature potentially to do it, so he's just going to chump block. So take 5, Bing, go back down to 22. And a Transguild Promenade.
And another big attack from Jay. So, bunch of trades. Bing is down to basically just a Tristani.
But he does have an Avenging Arrow to take out that last token. And Bing needs some creatures here.
Even a single
He's
token
looking through his
would
graveyard. Why would he be doing that?
might be counting how many spells he has left in his deck, trying to figure out what his potential outs are.
Okay. I think he's got another reason. So these are the 2 cards that I saw. He plays a Gerard here.
rare that you see Gerard and Tristani in the same deck.
Yeah, joining hands and fighting on the same side. This is why Bing said that he was a little worried about his mana, but his power level is certainly there. Now, can you give us a quick refresher on what Gerard does, Steve?
It's a 2/2 creature.
Uh-huh.
It gets +1/+1 for each creature in your graveyard.
Now, we don't know exactly how many of that is, but I'd love to find out.
And for black-green 1, you can sacrifice another creature, cause your opponent to lose life equal to the sacrificed creature's power. So
Okay,
it cannot
now-
sacrifice itself.
No, which is what I thought, but you cannot. Now, I want to give you a little update. Gerard is currently in 11-11.
And Jay is on 11 life.
So that's why Bing was counting, because he's going to gain 11 when it enters the battlefield.
Oh, wow, another big rare.
And a Palisade Giant. That's going to gain him 7 more life. He's gained like 40 life this game.
So,
Oh, wow. So we see a chump block from JC and then an Avenging Arrow to take out Gerard. But as you see, Gerard does have one more ability. He's got Sacrifice a Swamp and a Forest, return Gerard from your graveyard to your hand. Does Bing have a swamp?
not yet.
He does not. He does have Black Mana Source ×2, but neither is a swamp. So for now, Gerard must stay in the graveyard. And currently, Jay doesn't have enough power to get through the Palisade Giant. I don't think he's got oh, no, he does. He's got 5, 7, 8, 9, actually. What's that card on the bottom? Is that the other Phantom General?
He's pumping up his Celestia Sentry with Drudge Beetle. So
Making
Bing
it
has
all the
to
way to
just
7.
jump block.
Yeah, so Bing just blocks. He cannot block and take the same damage. Hey, there's a
Oh, a
swamp off
swamp.
the top. So now he can...
Floats black-green.
He's going to float the mana. He's going to sacrifice a swamp and a forest. He's going to get Gerard back. And he's
Jeez.
going to replay him this turn. He's going to gain just a ton.
Should be 12.
We see Jay's hand held up. It's a 12. Yeah, Gerard is confirmed as a 12-12. So 12 more life gain
Bing goes to 42, is it?
for Bing. He's at 35, it looks like. He didn't take any damage last turn.
Bing attacks. Jay just regenerates.
All right.
But
With the regeneration shield on the stack, he says, I will Avenging Arrow that.
now Jay desperately
Actually, he
needs
can't
to
do
find
it
an
with the regeneration ability on the stack,
He
but
doesn't.
irrelevant.
Right. Regeneration only saves your creature from lethal damage or destroy effect once, and then that
Once
shield
per,
is gone.
Yes, right.
So you could regenerate again, but you have to have a way to do that.
Did Bing just block?
With his Tristani.
I guess Jay doesn't have any cards in hand. Otherwise, I don't see why you'd ever block.
The Jared is his path to victory at this point.
It sure is, and he's battling with it right now after gaining 3
Another
more
chump block from Jay. Jay has to block every turn. Or
every
he's gonna
single
die to it.
turn because Gerard, I'm calling him Jared, is actually just lethal here.
Another attack, another chump block, another attack, another chump block.
Next turn, he can attack with both creatures. A Vassal Soul,
that's
no,
just
going
gonna
to
chump
do
block.
anything. Doesn't have an attack with both now. What is this?
Courser's Accord gains 6 life, goes
more
to
life,
42.
and he does actually. I don't know if you attack with both there because it's just a pretty easy block.
Yeah.
You can stay back and just populate. If you've got a land drop in hand. Not
He
sure
does,
what
and
Bing's
they're
last card
off
is
to gain 3.
All right, and JC has seen enough of Bing Luke and his shenanigans. So Bing came up and I said, hey man, how's your deck? And he said, well, let me tell you. And he just showed me the top 2 cards, and they were Tristani and Gerard. And I just looked at him and I said, are you going to be able to resolve these? Hi, Rashad.
And Hurricane.
Steve, yeah, the Hurricane got Steve,
yeah,
is
the Hurricane.
what I'm being told.
It's like a bad horror movie, except it's backwards because I'm still here.
Aren't you supposed to be like walking around the hotel, opening up doors, cameras behind you?
I don't know what that means.
You said it's a bad horror movie.
Well,
I just described a bad horror movie.
I guess I'm with you now.
All right.
So Let's talk about this game that I
Did
missed.
did you watch it?
I didn't watch any of it. Can you actually just give me the recap?
Basically,
Was
Bing
it-
Luke
was it
gained about
rares?
50 life.
Was the recap rares?
Rares. If you want the shortest possible recap, it's rares.
How many? Like two?
Two.
Nope, there was three.
There was three. There
Oh,
was also a
the 2-7.
Wayfaring Temple. There was also
Oh,
the
four.
Palisade Giant. Yeah.
Man, that's how you drafted this format. You
Yeah,
get
the key moment actually in that match came, well, when Tristani came down, that saved Bing, but you know he actually had two 8/8s and the ability to start populating them, but they both died, one in combat and one to a Celestia charm. Then Bing found Gerard. That put a bunch of pressure on. He eventually died as well. Then Bing found a swamp that he needed to get Gerard back, and Gerard finished up the game from there.
It's usually the second Gerard that gets you, huh?
Yeah.
the first one.
Also, he gained 23 life from his Gerards.
Okay. Well, thanks for that recap. I'm glad because
You're welcome.
you know I'm so busy doing all these other things.
No, I
don't get
know.
to
Yeah, we all know how busy
watch
you are.
everything. Oh, I guess I thought Steve was going to relieve me, but
Yeah, Steve's coming back in. Yeah.
'cause I actually don't know anything about this game, but I do know that we've seen quite a bit of Bing Luke in this shot. And it'd be awesome if we could see a little bit of something else. There we go. But yeah, there we go. Now I'm gonna give it to
Hey,
Steve
Magic is
Satan.
being played. All right, we're going to bring Steve back in. We've got planes and a planes here for both players. Let's see what Bing's got. He doesn't have either of his gates yet, so you know you have a Gerard. You can often leave him in your hand for quite a while. He's got all three colors. He hastily slams down.
Did Jay choose to draw first?
I don't know. We didn't have the camera going when it first
Looks
started.
like he did.
It does look like that. All right,
He saw Bing's mana base, decided, I'll let him play first.
that's
but
right. And Bing battles with his Centaur and follows up with a Karazda Guild Mage.
Bing does not want to put his the Guild Mage in harm's way.
Again,
Just
he just can't.
No?
Like, Jay can just so reliably represent combat tricks. He's shown that he's playing like 100 of them in here.
Bing, a towering Indrik of his own, but it's not a great blocker when your opponent has that many combat tricks.
No, it's not. But it's not going to get any better. He's got to start getting those combat tricks out of Jay's hand at some point.
But if they're common bonds, he doesn't want to get them out of his
Yeah, that's a
hand.
good point. Permanent combat tricks are pretty annoying.
Oh, wow. Jay didn't attack at all.
That's
Jay,
interesting. I thought that after he played the Gate Creeper Vine that he was going to represent the tricks, but
well, he's
right
at
now
14.
he's at 14 and just can't really race what Bing's doing.
Yeah, even if Bing doesn't block, Bing takes 4, goes to 17, gets a huge attack back. That's awful for Jay.
Bing's choice of colors is interesting. He's playing green, black, white, and we saw a lot of the top seal decks yesterday had success playing in that 3-color combo.
Interesting. Definitely the first Tristani Gerard deck I've ever seen. Bing
Me too.
doesn't attack. He has a Karazda Guild Mage. No, he still can't get in a good attack because of the tricks that he's worried about.
Okay.
Except
He's going to
sacrifices.
sacrifice it and make 3 1/1 Saproling tokens. Now, JT played Phantom General and a Drudge Beetle there. See what Bing wants to do. I see he's got a Courser's Accord in his hand. He's got a full grip of cards.
But he's stuck on 4 lands.
He's stuck on 4. It looks like he needs to really keep hitting land drops to get himself out of this situation. No, he's still got plays, though. He's going to play a Concordia Pegasus. Fairly underwhelming, although it does hold that 2/2 bird at bay.
And it could turn into 3 1/1 Saproling tokens at a moment's notice. Karazda Guild Mage checks for toughness, not power. Right. Jay getting in his first attack a while. Bing trying to figure out, does he want to double block the bird and triple block his opponent's beetle? Does he want to let the damage through? Does he want to try to kill the Phantom General? Is he worried about Reborn defenses, which he saw last game?
Yeah, Rootborn defense
Looks
is
like
the
he's
big
going to try to kill the Phantom General. But 4 power in front of the General and 2 power in front of the bird.
That way he gets the, if all Jay has is one common bond, he can get the bird or the general here.
And
all right, so he's ordering the blockers first. All right, he's going to play aerial predation to take that thing out. And then he does have the common bond 1 and 1. So that means the bird lives. Although
interesting.
Bing Luke's
Bing's,
Towering Indrik does also live.
Right, Bing's play left him vulnerable to 2 tricks from Jay.
Yeah.
If Jay only has 1 trick, Bing's block is really good, but with 2, like he had, not great.
Bing's rubbing his head, trying to figure out what he needs to do here. Is he attacking?
Yeah. If he isn't blocking with it.
But I mean, he can block with it. The Phantom General's a 3/5. The bird's a 3/3. He can block those. Looks like he's just got an Azorius Arrestor.
Arresting the Phantom General?
Yeah, I think the Phantom General is what he hit with it. It's kind of an interesting attack. Yeah, Jay just says, sure, I know how to do this part. All right, he just blocks there. Doesn't even block the Seller of Songbirds again, just because of the chance that Jay has a sweet removal spell or a sweet combat trick. And it looks like he's going to play 2 spells at once. He's going to play a Selesnya Sentry and a security blockade. So he is just flooding the battlefield with creatures. Also, remember that Phantom General is going to give that knight +1/+1. And it looks like Bing Luke is going to be overran fairly quickly here if he can't start generating some serious advantage. You get behind against these combat trick decks, you know, from Selesnya, and you just can't really recover. Seller of Songbirds is going to keep him alive for
a little while
longer, but it certainly doesn't help much.
Bing isn't getting anywhere. Each turn, he's getting a little bit further and further behind.
And JC says, go
this
to
turn,
attacks.
he might be getting a lot further behind.
Yeah. It looks like JC's battling with everybody. I can't see if there's something off camera or not, but. Bing looks at his full grip of cards. We know that his deck is pretty rough as far as colored mana goes, but when you combine that with the fact that he just doesn't have enough mana to cast all the kind of in-between stuff to get him there, he's way behind.
Yeah. He's got the double green that he needs to cast his Gerard and his Tristani, but got only a single plains and a single swamp to go with it. This attack from Jay is going to hurt hard no matter how Bing blocks.
Bing Luke's board is going to be devastated, and he's going to take a bunch of damage here. I mean, we saw how much damage, how much life Bing gained in that last game. I mean, I didn't count it, but I'd guess 50, 45. I mean, he gained 23 just from Gerard coming in twice.
Right. He gained 16 from his 8/8 tokens.
So that's already 40-something. So he probably gained 50 or 60 life that game.
Bing finally drew a land, but it's a Skilled Promenade, so he's going to take another big hit.
Is he still alive is the question. He's sitting at 8.
And even if he can survive through this turn, what card could he have that would allow him to survive through the next turn?
I mean, there's a few cards in this set. I don't think Bing has any of them in his hand. It's looking pretty dire here for Bing.
Right? He doesn't even have the mana to activate his Karasta Guild Mage to make a bunch of chump blockers out of his Towering Indrik.
No, he doesn't.
No.
He does have the mana to pump up one of them.
So not only did the Transguild Promenade come into play tapped, but it prevented him from making 4 chump blockers.
Yeah. Oh, does he have a Swift Justice here?
He does? He does?
He's got a Swift Justice. It's going to keep him alive a turn as long as Jay doesn't have a response. I don't think he does.
But he also didn't regenerate.
Did
so
Jay just let that thing die?
he must have another follow-up play.
Oh, he's got the Avenging Arrow to take down the Karaza Guildmage and prevent Bing from doing what you were saying, which is making a ton of chump blockers.
But this situation doesn't seem terrible for Bing.
Does it not?
No, I think he can buy some time from here.
Okay, well, he did hit another land drop here. He's got a ton of mana. What are we going to see, a Palisade Giant here? Undo.
Palisade Giant would be pretty good. He wouldn't take any damage on his next attack. And he'd be able to trade it with either a Phantom General or the Towering Indrik. It looks like he has Palisade Giant in his hand, as well as, I believe, Courser's Accord.
Okay.
Now, both of them buy him a lot of time.
He's facing lethal in the air currently, except for that he does have the Indrik to block at least once. And even then, it would mean that Jay needed a combat trick, and he knows he doesn't have that because last turn he would have played one. I think he's got a Cellar of Songbirds and a land in his hand. So Bing Luke might be stabilizing here. It is a Cellar, and I believe he's only got another land, and he just passes his turn back. So
and now Bing can play Palisade Giant.
He also has the Grove of the Guardian here to make an 8/8 to help him stabilize, but I think he's just going to play the Giant.
Any attack
is that 7 mana he played? No, it was 6. All right. So, okay, there. That forest is untapped.
And any attack that Jay tries to make that would actually kill the Palisade Giant, it's going to be deadly.
It's going to be awful for his
can't
board.
Even attack.
So Bing Luke has now completely stabilized, and it's looking like he can actually start going on the offensive here soon. He has Tristani in hand.
With the Grove. And I don't think he's going to make the same mistake that he made last game.
I don't think he is either. Look at him. You can see him. The energy is joining on his side, and JC just draws another land.
Is that time? Are they in extra turns?
Do they get any?
They have 3 extra minutes.
So we're told that they get 3 extra minutes, but this is time in the round. So this is really, really important. You can see Bing Luke. You can see the nervous energy out of his hand. He's playing around with his wedding ring. He's counting up his mana. And JC says, I'm going to attack with both of my creatures. Why would he do that?
I don't know. He might just be trying to get time off the clock.
What if he's drawn a common bond here? That would equal 7, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He does have the common bond. So this is going to, he's going to spread out some counters, and this is going to take out the Palisade Giant. Now, is it in either of these players' best interest to have a draw at this point?
Depends on what type of record they
Bing
think
Luke,
you need to top
at
8.
at this point, Bing Luke knows that he's in the driver's seat and that he can win this game. He goes back up to 11 here.
Yeah. He can go to 19 on his own turn.
He can go to 19, and he can make just tons and tons.
He has an aerial predation in his hand. Bing can win this game if he has enough time.
He definitely can. He's got to play quickly. He's got to play crisply here. It doesn't tap Bing. No, untap it. That card has Vigilance. All right, so he's going to block
just
there.
Jump blocks. We see an Eyes in the Skies.
Yep, we do see an Eyes in the Skies, and he's just going to say go because he can represent. I don't think he can do both, can he? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's the rest of his mana? He's got them all piled up. You can't really see how much he has. He might have 7. 1, 2, 3.
He should have done that on his own turn. He gave Jay an opportunity to draw the Celestia charm that he
that's
knows
true.
is in his deck.
But
Aerial Predation takes out the bird.
All right, he's going to
Bing's
gain 2.
rushing
Look
here.
how he is rushing, but
He
he
just
actually
wants
needs
to make sure. Oh, he has 7 mana. He can make multiple 8/8s now.
He can make multiple
This
because he
is- I
says
think
bash
he-
with both of them.
I think he can win in time.
I think he can too. As long as JT plays relatively quickly, he can do it.
Well,
Why
Bing's
did
gonna
Jay?
have
Why did
4
Jay pay?
8/8s next
Oh, he
turn.
prevented one of the damage. He is. He's going to have 4 8/8 and a flyer. Bing sitting at 21 life.
He's going to be at 38.
He's going to pay to
He can attack with
activate this,
everything.
make an 8/8. He's going to play Eyes in the Skies, make another 8/8, gain 16 life, go to 37, and make a bird. That makes 38 life.
He attacks with. I think. Can he? He might be able to win this turn.
He might be able to just win this turn if he attacks with everything. Remember, all of the big guys have vigilance. He doesn't quite know. Is he going to do a no-math alpha attack here on camera? He does indeed. He's just bashing with his whole entire team.
Everyone but the Tristani.
Yeah, Tristani
And
is going to stay back, and JC extends
wow.
the hand. Bing Luke with a huge comeback,
Wow.
and you almost get a smile out of him. There it is. He kind of gives a little, well, yeah, that's how it goes, I guess.
I thought Bing was